Hello there guys, it's Joel here, aka Gallucks, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's video, I'm not showing you any clothes at all. Nothing, none in my hands, because I just wanted to sit down and chat to you really. I do recent pickups videos all the time. I'll probably do another recent pickups video after this, because that's what I do love doing. I do love clothes. But I do get a lot of messages on Instagram asking me, you know, how I got to where I am today. You know, I've worked for myself for nearly 3 years now, and since so many of you guys are new and you don't know what I used to do before I was a full-time blogger, so I thought I'd run kind of through my experiences, what jobs I've had in the past, very briefly. So I used to work at Mr. Porter in the studios there. Before that I worked for a fashion app, and then before that as well I was an assistant stylist, so I worked on things like X Factor, celebrity styling and TV shows and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of go more into detail about that and kind of my tips of how you yourself can make a kind of name for yourself in the industry or do whatever you want to do. This doesn't actually have to just apply to fashion, like this kind of applies to lots and lots of different industries and careers and stuff like that. I used to write a lot of articles on my blog on Gallucks.com about advice, about work advice or being your own boss or starting your own business and stuff like that. I cannot believe that I've nearly worked for myself for 3 years. That's literally crazy. We've come a long way. And I think that's one important thing to remember, that this is not an overnight thing. Like, if you have a dream and you want to achieve it, you're gonna have to work so hard. But hopefully it shouldn't feel too much like work because you love what you do. I've nearly finished my chocolate milk, which makes me very sad. So if you are new to the channel and haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell for notifications. That would mean so much to me. There is nearly 91,000 of you, and this is literally insane. I cannot fathom how many people have clicked that little subscribe button to my channel. I'm going to start from the end of university because that is where things kind of started for me. I didn't do anything to do with fashion at university. I actually did want to by the time I finished college, but the education system doesn't really allow much time to think of what you actually want to do, because I had chosen at A-level to do like media, drama and business and film studies, and then by the end, that was when I was like, what, 15? Yeah, that was when I was like 15 that I chose those, and then by the time that I was finished those courses when I was 18, I was majorly interested in fashion, but I couldn't actually get on any fashion course because of the A-levels that I'd chosen. I think that's one of kind of a flaw in the system. But then again, here I am now, a lot older, a bit older, doing what I love to do with fashion. So you don't really need the qualification, especially when it comes to, I think when you do things like law or medicine and stuff like that, the qualification really does matter. But when it's an arts kind of thing, it does help a lot, but you don't necessarily need it. So yeah, I went to uni. I did contemporary theatre at Chichester University, which was amazing. It's an incredible course. It was kind of like a self-help course. It taught me a lot about who I am as a person, which was incredible. I wouldn't have changed that for the world. And then when I left, I started my blog just before I went to uni, so it was called The Hallowed Ground. I started posting my outfits on it. I'd get mates to take pictures of me, like in my backyard at uni. It's all still there. All my old blog posts are still on Gallucks.com, so you can go back and see how it evolved. Having a blog and talking about different designers and fashion that I liked and stuff like that actually led to me getting an internship with a designer in central London. It was just 2 weeks helping her out, and I had the most incredible time. And I was so up for anything. I was like so lucky to be given that chance, just because I'd showed a genuine interest, you know, in writing about this designer on my blog, and she was like, you know, I've read it, do you want to help me? And I was like, yeah, that would be insane. So obviously I didn't know how to like sew or do anything, but it was basically just running around London, an extra pair of hands, helping put together this collection. I'd like pick up fabrics, I'd go and meet people, I'd like take contracts, places, just loads and loads of random stuff. But I think just that's the first kind of tip. It's just, if you show your passion and your willingness to work and help because of your genuine love for it. You know, I wasn't getting paid. I'd saved up my own money to go to London for 2 weeks in the break of my uni, like when it was a reading week or something, so probably should have been reading. But so that was my kind of little toe in the pond, and I ended up going back in summer and helping her, and it was called then London Collections Men. It's Men's Fashion Week now, but I helped with the show, with the casting, we put on a fashion show, and it was insane. And I loved it. I loved every single second of it. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is what I want to get into after uni. So obviously after university, I had a degree. I got a 2-1 in contemporary theatre. I had an amazing time at uni, but obviously that degree I wasn't really planning on using to get me a job anywhere, and it's kind of relying on you know, my work from my blog and the people that I knew, the network that I kind of built up on the internet. And I'd started an Instagram by this time as well, but I wasn't necessarily using it for my blog. I was using it kind of like an everyday life kind of Instagram. And then when I moved to London, it kind of clicked that I should be putting my blog content on my Instagram, and my Instagram should be more of a professional portfolio of kind of my styling, my outfits, what work I've been doing and stuff like that. I think in my head at the time I wanted to be a stylist, and that was like what was in my head, because I was like, this is cool, like I love clothes, I want to dress people in clothes, you know, I want to work with brands, I want to work for TV shows and all that kind of stuff. But that world seemed so far detached from me at the time, and I needed money. I moved to London, I had a car when I was at uni, I had a little Toyota Aygo. I sold it to pay for my deposit and my rent in London for when I first moved, and then I needed a job quick time really, because that was enough for like the deposit and 1 month's rent, and I was like, I kind of need some money. I had like 6 interviews. I had one at like opening ceremony, I had one at a pub. I'd worked at the SU at uni, so I'd had bar experience already. I just needed money basically, because I could do what I want in my own spare time, but I just needed cash. Unfortunately, 6 interviews led to no job at all. And I was complaining about it one night on Facebook. I was like, because I think I had a job interview at COS, and then they emailed me at like 11:30 on a Saturday night, like, oh sorry, you didn't get the job. I was like, why would you email me at 11:30 on a Saturday night? So I ranted about it on Facebook, and it just so happens that I had a stylist on Facebook added from when I was doing the internship. She's called Ricky, and she messaged me. She's an absolute babe, and she messaged me and she was like, are you looking for work? Like, do you want to be my assistant? And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I need a job and this is amazing. And the next day we were on a train up to Manchester to style Union J for Blue Peter, and I was literally like beside I like called my mum and I was like, Mum, I'm on the set of Blue Peter. She was like, you didn't have a job yesterday. I was like, I know. So that was a real like twist of fate. From then on I started assisting Ricky for like 8 months. So we worked where we styled Union J like constantly. We started some other artists as well, and then the big job was the live shows of the X Factor. I think that was like 2014, 2015. Basically, like, Ricky knew that I didn't really have any experience in assisting before. But like I said, it's just being that extra helpful pair of hands and willing to say yes. And she knew that I was interested in fashion because she'd seen me help style the show for the designer back then, and she'd seen my Instagram and stuff like that, because I was still posting my blog content. So I was still posting outfits, still posting on my Instagram, just for a pure love of fashion. Like, I think I had like a few, like maybe 4,000 followers at the time. Didn't have a lot of followers. It's not, I don't think you need a lot of followers to be able to show someone what you can do. You just need, I think it's all about the content, so like what you post. But my Instagram definitely helped me get across to people what I was capable of and what I was interested in as well. So yeah, helped Ricky for 8 months. Literally, if you're a stylist, or you've been a stylist, or you are wanting to be a stylist, you should know that it is hard work. Being a stylist is incredibly tough. You've got to have really thick skin, which I admit I don't have the thickest skin, so maybe I wasn't too cut out to be a stylist. You've got to be extremely confident, and it's a very competitive world out there as well, so you've got to be very on the ball all the time. And you don't really get a rest either, so we're working like non-stop, but that's what I wanted, that's what I needed. I had like a drive to, you know, come to London and do something for myself, like make a name for myself. So that's what I did with Ricky, and ended up working with other stylists on X Factor, meeting a whole team of people. Therefore, and I was contacting PR agencies, brands, talking to, you know, the contestants, and from that, it's like my network kind of spread from there, because that's what I think is key, networking. So like, the only reason I got that job with Ricky is because I actually had her on Facebook, and we exchanged a few like conversations prior, but not much. But it's that idea of meeting people and giving a good first impression and telling people like what you're about and kind of channeling that. That's why I find fashion so interesting, because you can meet someone and know exactly kind of, it's like a language. So it's very, very important to me, like how I dress and how I present myself, because it's the way that I want to be seen. And I think it's true. It's like, there's a quote that's like, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. But obviously if you've got to wear a uniform, then you've got to wear a uniform. But you know, if you give off a vibe of dressing like a stylist, then people are going to think you're a stylist. If you put on your website or on your portfolios or on your Instagram, you know, I'm a stylist, and you put pictures of your work, it kind of sets the tone that you are a stylist. And people take that information and they believe it, and they'd be like, well, we need a stylist. Let's call that guy or girl. Let's call that person, because that's what they do. I know I'm blabbing on loads, but this is what it's about. It's a case of letting people know what you can do, and that you're able to do it. So I went on from that. My friend got in touch with me because they were looking for people to work for their new app. So I ended up working for a fashion kind of discovery app where people could like use search image recognition to find clothes. The role was kind of personal stylist, so I was quite interested, but after kind of starting it, I realized that it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was, and I became more of an online kind of help for customers and stuff like that. Which is not kind of what I wanted to do, but the money was decent, so I did that for about 8 months. Still going on with my blog, still posting like 2 blog posts a week. I think this is around the time when I started my YouTube channel. Hey YouTube, just because I wanted to get more involved with my audience. I think I had about 20,000 Instagram followers at the time, and was like wanting to get more involved with you guys who were liking my pictures or reading my blog posts and stuff like that. So it was a really, really exciting time for me. And that is when my friend Tom, one of my best friends now, Tbuck9, got in touch with me. He's a photographer, and I've known him since the MySpace days back in Manchester. And he said there was a job going at Net-a-Porter, Mr. Porter, that he thought, you know, might be good for me. And basically in the interview, they hardly asked me any questions about my previous experience in styling and stuff like that. And it was more about, because the job role was to do product styling, so it was like flat lay images, outfits, you know, for the Instagram, social media content and stuff like that. They were very, very interested in my Instagram. And that was kind of my portfolio at the time. Because back then I would do a lot of like flat lay shots of like items and objects, piece of clothing and stuff like that, and that's what they were really interested in. So it just surprised me so much that I'd come from, you know, no fashion degree or no qualification at all, to landing a job at one of the most prestigious luxury companies in the world. And I was so happy when I got the job. I was so over the moon. It was literally insane. I just felt like I'd really kind of made it, because I'd, you know, come from nothing and got a job at this like insane website, and I was like, this is so cool. That's why I've said in past videos, like, Instagram literally changed my life, because it has actually changed my life in so many ways, and now it's basically part of my full-time job. So I used to post on Instagram 3 times a day. Bearing in mind, at this point, I had not made a penny from my blog or Instagram. I didn't even know that was thing. I didn't know brands would like sponsor me or want to work with me in that way. Brands would send me free clothes and stuff, but I never asked for a penny. Yeah, so when I got the job at Net-a-Porter, I started getting so many messages from brands, over from Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that, to work for them, to produce content on my own channels to show my audience. It just all got a bit much. And I realised after about like 6 months, I was like, do you know what? I was like, my blog and my Instagram and my YouTube could become my full-time job if I really, really persevered and put my foot down and really pushed you know, my content creation to its extreme. So that's what I did. I kind of focused on presenting myself as my own business, which had never come across, and I never thought of it in the past. I think that's what's really interesting about the fashion industry. It's that there are loads of jobs out there. PR, design, retail, marketing, literally I could just list hundreds and hundreds of jobs that happen within the fashion industry, but I personally feel like the best jobs and the most fulfilling jobs personally, like from my perspective, are the ones that you create yourself. Yeah, working for myself was the best decision I've ever made, and I highly recommend it to any young person with an idea or a dream or a business plan, because when you're young, that's the time to kind of take risks and really go for it. So, and I honestly believe that anything is possible. I know this sounds really, really cheesy, but I think anyone can achieve whatever they want to if they put their mind to it. And I think we're often made to feel like that we can't do things, especially by, I felt like I could do a lot of different roles in the fashion industry, but wasn't really enjoying the ones that I kind of chosen to do. And when I said to people like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that, I was put down a lot. A lot of people will put you down. They'll be like, oh, you're not good enough to be a stylist, or you're not trendy enough to do that. And it's like, don't listen to other people. Like, if you have a goal or a dream, then you just work so damn hard to make it happen. So like I was saying, like, I didn't earn any money from my own content until after 5 years of doing it. So that just shows you how kind of much work and learning and personal motivation goes into starting your own business. You might not make any money for a while, and you might have to work a bar job, or you might have to have a different kind of job. I knew stylists, photographers that did work other jobs as well. Like, you have to be willing to do anything to kind of make your dream happen. And the one kind of key thing in all of this is networking. I would have never got any of my jobs if I wasn't posting my own kind of content and passion on the internet. If I wasn't talking to people and, you know, making connections and making friends. And the third, I think, most important thing that I personally do is I'm a nice person. I'm not saying that in like a boastful way or something, but I genuinely am. And, you know, I'm happy for other people. I want people to succeed. When I meet people, I'm not rude. I've met so many people in the fashion industry that are so rude, and they kind of put themselves on a pedestal because they're in the fashion industry and they work for, you know, whoever magazine or whatever. And it's like, oh my god, no one cares. Please take your high horseness, get off it, and let the horse go away, because everyone is just a person. We can all talk to each other like human beings. Like, I don't put anyone above anyone else. It doesn't matter where you work, what kind of position you're in, how much money you make, how many followers you have. Nothing matters. Everyone is a person, and you should treat everyone the same way that you would like to be treated yourself. And that is the one thing actually that I did not like about most of the places that I work. The whole hierarchy and office politics of stuff is not something that I want to get involved in, and that's why I so much prefer working for myself. That kind of integrity you can keep in any job role or anything that you do, because you just have to be honest with yourself. I think communication is key, and lack of communication can cause these kinds of problems. I feel like I've got lost in a vortex of the fashion industry now, but they're my kind of main points. You know, like, network, show people what you can do, really persevere. Don't expect to be handed anything from anyone, because you probably won't be. And if you are handed an incredibly amazing opportunity, you have to give it your all, you have to give it 110%, and you have to just, there are times when you've got to grit your teeth, smile, and just get on with things. I think also, especially moving to London really did help, because this is where all of the fashion industry kind of orchestrates from in the UK. I feel like I've waffled on for way too long now. If you do have any questions about any of the 20-minute chat rant I just did, then leave them in the comments below. And if you do want me to do another video with more specific points of how to do a certain thing, then just let me know in the comments below. If you got to the end, oh my god, well done. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.